Well, good evening. It's Wednesday afternoon. Actually, it's Wednesday evening, almost sunset, close to sunset. And today's been an odd kind of day. I was planning on doing some things and never got to it. And talking to Adam this morning on the phone for a little bit and asked him what's he going to do sometime this week. And he said, "Why?" So I get my mower back in working condition again. And he said, "Give me a few and I'll be over there to put it together for you." He came over and got it running. Everything was going good. And he stayed for about another 2 hours or so. We was in there shooting shit, talking, looking at videos on YouTube, some of mine. Of course, he had to leave, go to Rural King and then get some wood stain and then go pick up his daughter from work. So he left and I was sitting around the house. You know what? I'm going to go mow the yard. I've been down to mow the yard now for 2 weeks because the mower's been down for 2 weeks. And I got like, I don't know, a itty bitty portion of the yard cut. And I kept smelling burning rubber. And I was like, well, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all. And sure enough, lo and behold, I heard a pow like that. Damn belt broke in 2 pieces. Well, broke in 1 piece. It broke. So it broke. Doesn't matter how many pieces it is. So I pulled it out and I was sitting there cussing myself and everything else and going on. And so I hung it in the carport. So tomorrow when I get up, I can go up there to each town small engine and get me a new belt. Hopefully they have one. And so then I call Adam back up sometime tomorrow. Well, of course, I'm going to tell him this evening when I talk to him next. And say, hey, you know, good news and bad news. Good news is mower ran great. Bad news is I broke a belt. And he's going to be like, oh my fucking God. So I can already tell you. So then I was sitting here. I was like, you know what? I sat on the side, played on Facebook about 10 or 15 minutes or so. I said, you know what? I'm going to go water chickens because, you know, they were getting low on water. So I cleaned out their water container real good and filled it back up. And now they're tickled pink because they got something to drink because it's a hot damn day out here. It really is. And then I was sitting there. I said, you know what? I got a bunch of grapes in my grapevine. I know. Now here's the thing. All my grapes aren't all done. There's like a good purple one here and a bunch of green ones and a purple one there and a bunch of green ones. So I'm not sure how good you can see this. And I do got a couple of green ones in here, I'm not gonna lie. But this here, make sure I put this where I don't dump them on I better not do that too much. I don't want to dump them all over the thing. But there's that, you know. There's a few green ones in there when I was picking because I always hold the bowl over my thing so that way if one falls off, it goes in the bucket. And even though, like this one here, it's a little green one, it got a teeny bit of color right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But if you turn it around, it's green. But it is juicy, and even though it's small, it's kind of plumpy and juicy, so I'm going to keep it and save it. And just like this one here, this little thing here is green as a green as a booger, or green as a thing of snot, as some people would say. But it's, you know, it's a little crunchy. But there's juice in there still, so I'm going to keep it. Now, all these grapes I have right here, which is, I don't know, maybe a pint full, if that, or half a pint. But I'm going to take these, and I'll take my food saver bags. And I'm going to pour these in the food saver bag, and I'm going to freeze them. And then tomorrow, when I go out there, after kind of going to each on a small engine and get a new belt for the mower, I'm going to go back out there tomorrow. I'm going to pick some during the day, and I'm going to pick some towards the evening. And keep adding, like I do my blackberries, pick a little bit here, pick a little bit there. And yeah, so that way I'll have, you know, a decent amount of Concord grapes. Now, I was going to pick some of these this year for jelly and take to market. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to freeze them in the deep freezer all year long. Well, the rest of this year into next year. And next year make them into Concord jelly. And, you know, do it that way. And try to get as much seed out of this without heating them up and killing the seed, and then taking all the seeds out of here as possible, and then taking that and dumping them somewhere across here in different areas, just to see if they will reproduce and, you know, grow some more plants. Because yeah, I mean, I would like to try it, just see if it works or not. Now, I know that technically I should put the seed out like as soon as possible, like this time of year, so that way, you know, it goes through the rotations, you know, it'll be in the ground, and it gets cold, and then it freezes, and then next year you'll start it sprouting and, you know, possibly grow into a plant. Well, I'm not going to do all that because I don't want to mess with all these grapes between now and whenever. So I'm just going to freeze them, do them next year. And then, you know, if it does happen to grow, it grows. And if it doesn't, then some bug gets a free treat and, you know, something to nibble on. But I do have my vines up here which have all kinds of grapes on them. Some of them are ripe, a lot of them are not, which is fine. And then I have back here in the backside, by the side of the goat pen, I got another batch of grapes. They're actually, I took my old clothesline poles, my aluminum ones that kind of shaped like a T, and I put cattle wire on top of it, or cattle fencing, and tied it down, and put some grapes in the middle of it, so that way they're growing up, that way they can spread across it, and that way they can hang down versus having them on the fence like I did. Everybody told me, don't grow grapes on the fence, don't grow grapes on the fence. Well, at the time, I didn't have this half-angle redneck solution built up back here in the side yard. I just had a fence. So I put them on the fence. And I've had them now for maybe 8 years. And last year I got a decent amount of them, like growing all kinds of good clusters, and the birds came in and ate them all up. And so now what I'm doing is I'm picking them one by one, like I would my blackberries. And which good thing about that is, once the good ones are picked off, nice ripe ones, then be like a blackberry. Within a short amount of time, instead of the plant focusing on that one, it's going to focus on a few more. And I'll go back through and I'll do like you did today. I'll go and I'll pick, and I'll keep adding to my thing. Now, if I can get a gallon or 2 gallons of grapes off that vine out front, I'll be tickled pink. I mean, if I get a gallon, I'm going to be tickled pink. But I get 2 gallons, I'll even be more tickled pink. Because that's just, well, more jelly I can make and, you know, share or sell, one of the two. Now, I did get a bunch of cucumbers at market this past weekend. Not like I got 2 weekends ago, but I did get a bunch of them. So what I'm going to do with these, the same thing I did with some other ones, is I'm going to make cucumber chow chow. Now, basically, you're making chow chow, but what you're doing is, instead of me using cabbage, I'm using cucumber. And it tastes like pickle relish, except for it's a little sour and sometimes, and other times it's kind of sweet. But it's fine, because, you know, one bite is kind of sweet, next bite's kind of sour. So, you know, to me, I think it's an even blend. I'm going to move this camera just a teeny bit, get me more in the picture besides hanging off the side. My tomatoes over here, they're just now starting to put some color on, which is about damn time, but they've been green for over a month. Now they're just now starting to change color some, so that's fine. A lot of people this time of year jerk out the tomato plants and plant fall stuff. Well, as long as I still got green ones on my plants over here, I'm not jerking mine out. I'll leave them till it comes frost time. I don't care. Now, one of the things I am looking at doing, I do got a package in the house in here somewhere. I got them put up. I just got to find them. But shortly, within sometime this week or weekends, I'm going to plant purple-headed turnips. And if I can get some by the time it gets too cold, I'll be tickled pink. I love turnips. A lot of people don't like turnips. I love turnips. I think they're great. They're good for you. You can eat the greens or you can eat the root. Either way, you know, turnip greens and turnips. What more could you ask for? But that's one of the things I am going to be doing soon. Now, I do gotta water my garden because we've had rain off and on for so many days. My plants were all nice and big and green and thriving like you wouldn't believe. And now that we've had like a day or day and a half with no rains, and now today was a hot day. It was like 90-something degrees with a heat index of 105. So my plants are a little bit droopy. So that means here in a little bit I'm gonna turn on the garden hose and drag it out there, and I'm gonna give all my plants a good watering, a good soaking. And now there is a percentage of chances of rain between now all the way into next week, which is fine. If it rains, so be it. But bad thing of it is, if it doesn't rain, we're gonna be back in the drought monitor like we was this past month. So I gotta make sure I keep all my stuff nice and watered in the evenings, and they get good amounts of water and everything else. I'm just now starting to reap some of my vegetables from my garden because they sat dormant most of the summer, and they were growing. The plants were growing, but you know, they were putting off shoots and flowers, and you know, certain things would bloom and it produced a tomato or so, and they just sit green the whole time. I couldn't figure it out. I fertilized them, I gave them nutrients, I watered them. I didn't overwater them. I watered them every 2 days. That way they get some decent water, time to dry out a little bit, give them a little bit more water, and do it that way. And they're nice and thick, they're fluffy, you know, they're tall, they're, you know, all kinds of green tomatoes. They just now started, I'm looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 right now. They're kind of a greenish orange, and they're out there on the stalk of the plant, so maybe tomorrow they'll get nice and red and I can pick them. And I came home past 2 weekends totaling about probably about 60 pounds of tomatoes, and I burned a lot of those up making salsa and tomato sauce and stuff like that. And the wife got mad because she's like, I don't have anything to eat. And I told her, I said, well, I got these, you know, I told her, I said, you can have something to eat. And I said, but most of this is going to be going in canning jars because we got to get ready for this coming year. I don't want to be cutting pants down because I can a lot of stuff during this, like midsummer and into summer, stuff like that, getting ready for winter. And I think this one's gonna be one of the more rougher winters with all this inflation and crap going on and everything else. And there's gonna be people gonna be start panic shopping again here soon, I have a feeling. And things are going to become a little bit more scarce and more scarce and more scarce. But I did order me some jar bottles in to make hot sauce and more extract in. And I got some bigger bottles for hot sauce. Now, I'm going to have a sissy sauce, which is flavor. And then I'm going to have a little bit warmer hot sauce, which is going to be, you know, it's going to have a little heat to it, but it's like a flavor heat. And then I'm going to have a not so flavor hot sauce. This is basically going to be heat. And then once my Carolina Reapers and my Trinidad Scorpions over there grow a little more, and I'm able to process a bunch of them off of there, and then I'm going to have crazy heat on top of that bottle I have in the house that has 16 million Scoville in it, and I'm going to add some of those drops of that shit inside the other stuff, and I'm going to have insane crazy ass hot sauce. And then after I do all that crap, I got to process all the peppers and dry them out real good. And after I do that, I get to grind all that up, make it chili powder, so I can take more chili powder to market and everything else. And that way I can have my weapon grade chili powder like I have at the market. And yeah, it's gonna be some hot shit. Hot shit. But yeah. Now I did take one of my jars that I have the habaneros in, making my hot sauce, and a bunch of other hot peppers I had around the garden and stuff like that. my peach tree on the side over here, I took some peaches off, and I cut them up before the bugs actually started showing on it and everything else. So I cut the peaches around in half. So I cut them. I got like quarter chunks off the peaches, and I took the peaches from the tree over here and put them in one of my jars of fermenting hot sauce. So now I have a peach, somewhat of a peachy flavored hot sauce. It's going to be a very low taste of peach, but it's there. And I might have to go to the store, and I hate to do it, and buy one of the store-bought peaches, one of them great big ones, and cut the same way, stick it inside there to give it more of a peachy flavor to it. But then when I do that, when I cook them in the pot like I always do to process everything and get all the pulp part left out, at least the pulp part will have the peel, the outside fuzz part of the peach and everything else. So when I do dehydrate that and grind it up, it's going to have a peach kind of sweetness to it, like one of my batches did, and people loved it. They're like, oh my God, this stuff is so great. It has a nice fragrance to it. It smells nice and sweet. At the same time, it smells like, you know, ripping ass, and, you know, they loved it, so it is what it is. There's a lot more things I got to do here soon. Kids are starting school here I think it's next week. Let's see, today's the 3rd. Yeah, it'll be next week, I think. Yeah. Next Wednesday, they start school, first day of school. So, there's a few things I want to do before they go to school. I know that I want to go to market this weekend, but I might not. Mainly just because I want to do something, go somewhere, have some fun. You know, the last weekend before school starts, and just do something besides, you know, have them sit in the house, sleeping in, doing whatever. I don't know. I might still, I might still go to market Sunday. I don't know. I need to, because I need to get more tomatoes. But at the same time, I don't want to, because I want to do things with the kids, which we could do Saturday if I play my cards right. We can go out Saturday and do something. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But there's just so many things I gotta do around here. We gotta get the dryer out this week, because we're getting new dryers this week. I gotta get that dryer pulled out, make room for the new one. Hell, there's all kinds of shit we gotta do. I gotta finish picking plants around here, pulling weeds, tending to them, getting the belt for the mower since it broke, and man, it's just this time of year, it's kind of like you just stick your head in a tub of gasoline and set it on fire is what it feels like, and you just run around and try not to catch anything on fire. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But I do know one thing. I'm sweating like hell out here. Just making a video, I'm sweating like you wouldn't believe. And yes, I know, I got a turd light right here on my head. That's in case I was out there picking grapes when the sun went down, I could see what I'm doing still. Now, next question you're going to say is, why do you call this a turd light? A buddy of mine does septic work. And whenever he goes out cleaning septic tanks, he got one of these lights on his head like this. And he'll turn the light on. I'm going to turn the UV on so I don't blind you. There's my UV lights. He'll turn his lights on like this and look down inside of that septic tank after he's done cleaned it out. And he uses the light to make sure everything's nice and clean and spotless. And when it's over with, he'll turn his lights out, put the cap back on, and say, okay, you're ready to go. But the reason why he calls these a turd light instead of a headlamp is because, well, he works in shit. And here's the bright light of it, which is nice and bright. I'm going to blind you a second. There we go. So that way when he's doing his work, and he uses his light like this, you know, he can see if there's anything left over that he needs to clean before he says he's done. He calls them turd lights. I call them turd lights because I thought it was comical, and I keep calling them turd lights. And sometimes somebody be over the house and stuff. I'm like, where's my turd light? And they just get to look along in the face. What the hell is a turd light? You know, the light wearing your head. They're like, a headlamp. I'm like, no, it's a turd light. And they're like, oh, no, what a turd light is. This thing's loose. I took it off for it because it keeps sliding on my head. So I'm going to tighten this thing up. But, yeah, that's a turd light. See if that makes a difference. Moved it a little bit. It felt like it was so stretched out, it was sliding down my forehead. That's bottom. Yeah, it's a little tighter. That's better. Now it's not sliding down so much. I could put it up here and just slide down to here. And I put it right there, and now it doesn't move anywhere. Good deal. Got me a tighter turd light. Now, I think that's pretty much all I got to say. All I want to say. And it is hump day. It's about almost 9 o'clock. I can tell it's starting to get kind of that hue of the sun going down. Jar flies are out making their noise. Crickets are out making their noise. I got a bunch of Tabasco peppers on that plant over there. I think when the sun goes down, I'll come out and I'll pick a bunch of those off, stick it in one of my jars I'll be working on soon, making more hot sauce and doing it that way. So y'all have a great night. And yeah, have a great night. And hopefully, God willing, let me knock on some wood here. God willing, my feet hit the floor the next few days so I can make another video and share my livelihood and everything that I'm doing and everything else going on in my neck of the woods. And, you know, hopefully with you all, God willing, God lets your feet hit the floor and y'all can have a few more days to watch me or watch somebody else or be more productive and make the best of life. So until then, hasta la pasta.